another thing you said there was white women have helped me more than black women. Now, of course, we hear the notion that it's important to support black businesses, and I'm for, you see people say I'm for everything black, and I even be saying like, you mean everything, even the crackheads? I always question that, but anyway, how important is black unity?
Um, I think the fact that uh, the others work so hard to divide us shows us how important it is. Because if it wasn't, why would it be, such an agenda for them? You know
Mm,
what I'm saying? Why would it be such an agenda? That I think back to um, slavery. It was hundreds of slaves to one master. They divide us with fear. That's the first thing that they use. They use fear. And I think it's just obvious. Like, look how powerful Black women are. Come on, like for real, for real. Look how strong we are. Look how we persevere. Look how freaking smart we are, bro. Come on, we can walk into any room and just own it. You think that they're not intimidated, or the thought of putting five of us like that together intimidates them? And don't let it be 500. Don't let it be
mm,
5,000. Don't let it be 5 million. We would take over. We would take over. So they start by dividing us, then they divide us from our men. You see, it's separation of family. The thing that they thrive on, which is unity and family, is the same thing that they use to divide us. That shows you how important it is because it's weaponized. Because if our unity wasn't a thing, they wouldn't even be trying to ununify us or keep us divided.
mm. It's like we've been knowing each other forever because I talk about that all the time. We talk about you know, they had to find a roundabout way to implement the same strategies, of the Jim Crow era and, prior to that slavery. They found the Great Society, and they found food stamps and, different things, the welfare system, sorry, where they found ways where it impacts us. Don't get me wrong, there's by numbers, white people are on it as well and more of them, but we were impacted the most where it just dismantled our families and
Yeah,
and we don't
because
see the
one of the criteria was you can't have a male in the home.
exactly exactly
You know,
and
so I had to choose between having my husband in my home, a father to my children, or do I feed my children?
yes. Yes,
Like, what kind of
and we
choice is
just
that?
yeah, and I know people very close to me that they were married and the husband just chose to divorce or chose to not be together just so they can implement that as well. So there were men. Don't get me
Wow.
wrong that there were men who willfully took that back step and took that second
Oh
hand and
wow. Now that I
yeah
didn't know.
yeah. So at the end of the day, this you're right. It was a strategy against us and because they know we're more powerful together. It's,
And
it's
and
so
they
amazing.
know that we're the most powerful weapon against each other. In my
Yes.
follow-up video, I had to respond to people saying we shouldn't air our dirty laundry. And I'm like, you as if they don't know. They know. That's
Yes.
why they use it against us. Every, job that I've had problems on, and an upper supervisor, in my case, a regional or district manager, they didn't like me. You think they got one of them to come at me? It was always one of us because they know how we operate. They know that they can take another Black woman and weaponize her against me. Now, where they get surprised is when they try to get me to do it. Because
Mm.
they go, oh, no, 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 no. And I made another video, and there, women were saying, oh, she just hates Black women. All she does is talk about Black women. Well, what about the one when I said, I'm never beefing with a Black woman? I said that what I'm not doing in 2024 is beefing with a Black woman. I don't care
Yep.
how much discontent, how much dislike I have for you. I'm not beefing with you. I would just not deal with you. But guess what? I'll still support your business. I'll still, refer your business. I can support you. We don't have to like each other. But I think where we fall off is like there's no respect. There's no empathy for each other. I'm the type of person, like if I need something, I'll go seek out a Black business first. I'll go see, I try to get a Black woman. And you know why I do that? Because my parents did that. My parents did that. You know,
Yeah,
my dad's an entrepreneur. My dad has never punched a clock. So I know how important it is for us to support each other. But, you know, I talk about that all the time. We don't do that either. We'll come ask us for discounts
yep,
and go pay others full price and then get mad. We feel as if a Black person owes us something because they do have a business. Well, what they don't understand, it took them probably more money, more resources, you know, more effort. They probably had to put so much more in that to even obtain what they have. So they're not even in a position to give you a discount.
absolutely.
And you shouldn't even want one. I feel like it's disrespectful to ask, you know. So
Yeah, it sometimes seems like familiarity makes you, discount things or make you want to look at it as a less than thing. And you talk about a
mhm.
lot about how you know us, and that's the reason you can be critical of, Black women. And also in that video you mentioned about when people, commented saying you shouldn't air our dirty laundry or don't do it in front of mixed company. You gave this powerful analogy of uncles. The uncle, do you remember that? If you don't mind, could you share that with us?
Yeah. Oh, so y'all, yeah, you know it's the truth. And I don't know if that's just a Southern thing, but we all have the uncle in the family that is basically a pedophile. Nobody turns him in, but all of a sudden, if he walk in, you see people grabbing their kids. I've experienced that, and I'm just like, what's going on? What's going on? But when we listen, we go to grandma's house. If Uncle so and so try to get you to go in the room, or don't you go no, you know. And as I got older, I was like, well, why wasn't his ass in jail? You know what I mean?
Yes.
Like no accountability, no accountability. But what I've learned with other races, oh, they'll turn them in.
Mhm.
They will turn them in. I don't know why. I don't understand that. With us. Like we literally try to sweep stuff under the rug and we get mad when it's called out, even though it's the truth. And, you know, my point was read the comments. Read the comments. It'll show you that it's the truth. Like it doesn't need to be swept under the rug. How are we going to deal with it? You know, are we not tired of them using that against us? I am. I am. But yeah, we all have that. And it may not be a pedophile, but it may be somebody that steals. You know, if a certain cousin's coming over, they be like, girl, go put all your stuff up. You know, hide the jewelry. You know what I'm saying? Put all your mail up because they'll write your address down and get your credit card numbers. Like, but we don't have them arrested for fraud. We cover it up. So,
Mm.
and not saying that they don't. That's just what I've learned about us. You know, we are notorious for trying to hide things that are in plain sight.
Yeah,
In plain sight.
absolutely. That's so powerful. And just my opinion. I'm trying not trying to make it yours, but I think a large part of why we don't get those people locked up is because we are a matriarchy. When it comes to you think about it, when if you ever had an uncle or somebody a male go to jail, and he called home, mama saying, "Oh, let's go get my boy." Daddy saying, "Let that boy stay in there."
All day.
He needs some act right or whatever. So the fact that we are a matriarch, I think a lot of time, I think about it in my own family. Like we know that uncle, we know that cousin that has for generations, molested young girls, and we
Yep.
don't say anything. And
Nope.
I call it out. Everybody, oh no,
Yeah.
y'all. I'm just saying the thing y'all scared to say.
Yeah.
But
They'll throw you out of the family. You are not invited to the cookout anymore.
absolutely, man, that's so big. I appreciate you for sharing that there. Now, one last thing you mentioned in the video that I want to point out. You said I had been making excuses for us because the
Hmm.
struggle is true for all of us. So I want to ask you this: what effects do you believe the excuses that people make for Black women has led or has had? What effect has it had on the progression of Black women?
See, that's the thing. Nobody makes excuses for us but us. Nobody makes excuses for us but us. Nobody tries to excuse our behavior but us. When a Black man calls it out, oh my God, they will crucify y'all. It will, it, no, see, it would be like, and it would be the truth. And it will be like, you have no right to say that. But that's the same black man that you want to take care of you. That's the same
Mm-mm.
black man that you want to provide and protect for you, protect you. So if that's the same type of man that you want, that's the type of man that should be able to call you out on your BS.
Mm-mm.
But we make excuses. I have. And I make excuses because of the same reason. I'm like, I understand her plight. Like, I understand why she acts like that. But then I started to look at myself like, damn, I go through the same stuff. I don't act like that. My friend over here, she's been through it. She don't act like that. You know, so um, I just started holding us accountable because I hold myself accountable. And I'm like, wait, sis, yeah, we go through all of this, but so does every other black woman. You know what I mean? So why does that give us an excuse to be nasty? You know what I mean? Why? Like, that's no excuse. That's even more reason to unify because we are experiencing the same things. You know, they say hurt people, and black women, we're the poster child for that. We're hurt, but we don't tend to hurt the people that hurt us. We hurt the people that look like us. And that's
Mm-mm.
weird to me. It really is weird to me. For lack of a better word, that's weird to me. I don't get it because, like I said, and not to call my mom out. I love my mom to no end. But my mother's mom died of cancer very, very early in her life. I never met my grandmother, and they were very, very, very close. And then there was some getting discontent for her father afterwards because of how he treated my grandmother while she was sick and going through that and the things that he did after. But because of that, my mother was very emotionally withdrawn. Um, when I say a great provider, like we had the best of the best. Like I'll never take that away from her. Uh, but not a person that I could talk to. You know, my father and I are best friends, and he traveled a lot. So it would be times where my mother and I would be in the house, and we couldn't say, we never said anything to each other. When it was time for groceries, I would walk in there, and the credit card would be on the table. I could go get whatever I wanted in my new car. But I told her as an adult, and you know, we have a great relationship now, better relationship. I said I would have traded all of that for a conversation. So, in turn, with my three daughters, I'm the opposite. Everything that I felt, I try to make sure they don't feel it. And I try to do the same for Black women. You know, if everything that I've experienced at the hands of Black women, I try to make sure that I don't do that to Black women. I actually go out of my way to say through my actions, through my words, hey sis, I'm not like that. I'm on your team, I'm on your side, you know, but I guess they're in such an untrusting state. Um, it's not reciprocated and it's not accepted.
Mm.
It's not.
Man, that tugs on my heart a little bit there, and I hope things could change. And speaking of change, I mean, you have a conversation like this, so many people will hear these powerful words and still say, "What's the solution?" You know, so for those who don't see it, you know, because typically the solution is within the problem. You know, just do the opposite.
Mhm.
But
That's
but for
exactly
those
what
who
I was
don't
about to
see
say.
it, right? So what advice would you give, you know, to our listeners, or what message overall would you like to convey as we just begin to wrap up in today's episode?
I know it's gonna sound real, real simple, but treat others as you want to be treated. And don't make people feel how you don't want to feel. You know what I mean? And if you want anything to change, it's gotta start with you. It has to start with you. For me, I think now I'm trying to be, and the sisters on my, you know, that have responded to the post have really helped me to be more open-minded about Black women because at this point, because I see there are women that are different. You know what I mean? The ones that spoke up and said, hey, I feel you, but I'm not like that. So I think most women need to step up and say, yeah, I acknowledge that this is a thing. This is a thing. And I'm just gonna be different. Like I for me, like I told my friend, I said, you know what? I'm going to every time I see a Black woman, I'm gonna compliment her genuinely. I'm not gonna make up anything. Like just yesterday, I saw a lady in the gym and I really liked her locks. You know, my daughter has locks. So I was like, dang, her hair looks good. I was very hesitant to tell her that. Very hesitant to tell her that. And I was watching her and she kind of saw me watching her and she kind of gave me this look like, she looking at, you know. So I was like, okay, now I got to say something now because she gonna think I'm one of them, you know. So we get in the locker room and I'm like, sis, who did your hair? And I was like, and how did they do it? So now I'm like all in her head and I'm trying to figure out how they did her hair. And she was like, girl, my daughter did my hair. And then we had this whole conversation about daughters, skincare, all of this stuff. And now I got a new stylist and found out we were the same age, kids were the same age. And she was like, yeah, I've seen you at several gyms. And she's like, and her thing was, she's like, I've been wanting to say something to you, but you know how we are. So she was hesitant. She was hesitant to talk to me because of the same thing. So that taught me a lesson. I was like, we got to be the icebreakers because other women feel like this too, you know. So I'm just gonna start breaking the ice. And when sisters aren't receptive, I like even with the nasty comments, nobody can say I responded negatively because it's genuinely not who I am, and I know who and whose I am. I don't feel the need to do that. You know, I'm iron, baby. I might bend, but I don't break. You can't break me. So I'm just gonna pray and use the discernment that God gave me to seek out those women, like, you know, and ask Him to place them in my path. And it's just gonna have to start one by one. We got to change it one by one. That's the only way I know how to do it. I don't know another way. But we can't sweep it under the rug. That is totally not gonna help. We can't hide it. We can't pretend like it's not a thing. You know, the response from that lady, and I won't say her name, shows me that it is really a thing because she said that she had been wanting to ask me about my workouts and you know, ask me for advice and how did I, you know, certain I do a lot of crazy stuff in the gym. And she wanted to ask me about that. She said, but she was very, very hesitant because she had approached other women that worked out before and the response was just nasty. So
yeah, Amanda, so grateful for you and your willingness and your bravery, honestly, to say what you said and just continue to do what you do. I want to give you an opportunity to shout out yourself and just your platform, if you would like, anywhere you would like people to find you, and also your training business.
I'm in New Orleans, and I will say this about training, and a lot of people don't know this. I stopped charging for my training a long time
Oh,
ago. Yeah,
oh,
um, I did. I do it pro bono for Black women. Nobody knows it. That's my way of supporting us, giving back to us. So if you're in the New Orleans area and you're looking for a trainer and you're serious about that life, you can hit me up. I'm actually working on a podcast called Out of the Black, where we talk
nice.
about stuff that's in the dark that Black people don't want to talk about. I've been working on that for a couple of months. So just look for that. But I just felt like stuff like this needed to be talked about. So that particular post wasn't about attention. It wasn't about any of this. It was just like my feelings were hurt. My feelings were hurt. And I know that there was other Black women that were feeling like me. So yeah, look for Out of the Black. It's coming. You know, I'm still working on it. But other than that, you're in New Orleans and you need a trainer. I'll let you girl, you know.
Yes. Yes, indeed. Looking forward to that, man. That sounds incredible.
Yeah.
Amanda,
We gotta
you
collab
a
on some
jewel.
more stuff. Yeah.
I'm with it. I'm with it.
Yeah,
Just
let's
let me know.
do
I'm
it.
there. 100%.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
Amanda, you a jewel. I really appreciate you. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me. You have a good one.
Let's go.